Welcome to Suzuka, Japan for race number 4 out of 30 in the #1 AAA Racing Academies series called the SuperMixed. The SuperMixed is a series where we race 3 different divisions, divisions 4, 3 and 2. And in the different divisions we use different cars. This is division 4, and in division 4 we use the slowest of the cars, and that means that we're using the Solstice and the Mazda MX-5, the Skip Barber and the Ford Mustang. The time difference in the qualifying here was about 7 seconds between the fastest of the fast, so to say. Ford is usually the fastest, but this time Sebastian Job got the fastest qualifying time, even though he's in the Skip Arbor, which is a little bit slower, and compared to the fastest lap time in the Solstice done by Jürgen Petersen, he was about 6 seconds slower. So, to compensate for this lap difference, the fastest car, the Skip Barber and the Mustang, must do mandatory stop-and-go penalty, and that in this race is about 2 minutes 15 seconds, I think it was. So they're going to be standing there for quite a while, and on the other hand they don't need to do so many pit stops during the race. All the cars are racing against each other, so that is why it has to be like this. On the other hand, the fights becomes very, very interesting when the faster cars have to make up all the time they lost in the pits, and then try to get over the finish line first to win the race. So we have done 3 races before, and we have a championship going on, so we have a leaderboard that we're gonna have a look at now. These are the championship standings. Sebastian Job in first position at 45 points. In second position, Frank Phillips in 37 points. Third position, Marek Studnicka in 36 points. Fourth position, Heinrich Lorenz in 25 points. Then we have Tim Schuet in 24 points, Jan Silushi in 21 points, Yelena Medvedev in 15 points, Konrad Venter in 10 points, Andy Morgan in 9 points, and Mark Figueras also in 9 points. And as you can see there, around second, third position, it's quite close, only 1 point apart, and the gap up to Sebastian Job is not that big. We're also changing for this race the points distribution. We have been using Grand Prix point system, going from 20 points downwards towards 10th position. Now we're changing it a little bit, so the maximum point you can points are being distributed down to 19th position. This is to make it a little bit more interesting for those who normally finishes 8th to 15th position, actually get some points. So we will see that after this race when we look into the championship again. Over to the race. In pole position, not a very big surprise, Sebastian Job. He's always starting high up on the grid. And in second position on the grid we have Pavel Maltsev. We haven't seen Pavel around this year, I think, so welcome Pavel, and nice to see you high up on grid also in a Mustang. We have Joao Cravero here in a Fanatec sponsored Skip Arbor. Konrad Venter sponsored by Omega Racing and in a Mustang also. Dwayne Bensinger in a Skip Arbor sponsored by Göta Petter Bar and Grill, our main sponsor. As you can see, the skull and crossed bones on his car. Logitech sponsored Rick A. James in Skip Arbor. Charles Salter, sorry, in a DeLonghi sponsored Skip Arbor. Kyle Herrin in Skip Arbor also. And fastest in the qualifying of all the MX-5s is Frank Phillips, and as usual in his nice blue car, very easy to recognize, Fanatec sponsored also. And here we have Marek Studnicka, Red Bull sponsored as always in a MX-5. Jan Silushi in Göta Better Bar and Grill sponsored MX5 also flying the colors there of #1 AAA Racing Academy. More AAA Racing Academy cars. Here's Jimmy Bolland, came directly from the Blondies race also. And Yelena Medvedev in very unusually painted car, I must say, but that is good, very easy to recognize for us. MX5. Jürgen Peterson, same colors as always, white, yellow and blue in Pontiac Solstice. David Sestello, golf sponsored as always, also very easy to spot. Andy Morgan, sponsored by the British meat manufacturers, as you can see from the paint of his car. Mike Thompson in MX5, joined the other day, welcome very much. Torre Tesla also came directly from the Blondies race, very good that you put in the extra effort to do 2 races right after each other, and also flying the colors of #1 AAA Racing Academy. Danny Resser also in a Solstice, very nice paint job, I must say. Kirill Markelets in a Mazda MX-5. Starting from the pits as a penalty from last race incident in T1, Mark Figuereras in Skip Arbor, also flying the colors of #1 AAA Racing Academy. Douglas McFarland starting from the pits also, that is his own choice. He is not that familiar with this track and made that choice to make things easier for himself and for others. Andrew Laughlin, same thing, also wanted to start from pits. Chuck Balfi starting from pits as a penalty for his incident on the back straight in the Spa race. Here we have Adam Atkinson, who joined very late, so he did not have the chance to either qualify or practice. But thank you very much for joining up anyway. Well, now here we are at the start, and I think everyone is ready to go, and we are looking into a 75-minute race ahead of us, and I'm pretty sure this will be an exciting race. Many of the drivers have been putting in a lot of practice hours, so I'm pretty sure that we're going to have some good fights between the 4 different car types. It's Frank Phillips that gets it very wrong. He actually had his steering wheel turned one whole lap to the left, so and he didn't notice it, so he just went off to the left and into another car. We're going to look closer to that a little bit later. You can see that Sebastian Job pulls away. He got a very good start, very quick reactions, and he immediately starts to pull away from Pavel. So we have Sebastian, Pavel and Zhao in third position. Conrad Venter, the Mustangs, like by a few of the slower cars. And then we have Dwayne Benziger right there. Sean Salker, Rick A. James, John Schlosser, Jimmy Bolland, Kyle Erin, Elena Medvedev, Jürgen Peterson, Frank Phillips, Andy Morgan. There's Mike Thompson, Marek Studnicka, Torre Tesla, David Sestello, Kirill Markelets, Danny Resser, Mark Figuereras, who started from the pits, Gary Jackson also, and there's Douglas McFarland. Andrew Laughlin also started from the pits, and Adam Atkinson. There is Chuck Balfi also starting from the pits. Well, back up in the lead, we have Sebastian Job, and it looks like, well, he's keeping Pavel behind him. Doesn't look to be any bigger problems with that. And now the black flag for the stop and goes have been issued, so many of the cars will be pitting in. We'll see if everyone pits in, just a few of them. There Pavel goes for takeover. He does, but I think that Sebastian sneaks by there. We have an incident also. We're going to have a look at whistle continued. There we see the Mustang passing on the outside, and there is Sebastian Job, Conrad Venter, Dwayne Benziger, I think. And we have one more skip Barber, I think that was Rick K. James passing on the track. So one Mustang so far and one skip Barber continuing. That's one more skip Barber on the track. So Okt5 coming in there. Okay, so Pavel continued. Let's go up and see what if he pits next lap or what he's gonna do. I'm gonna have a little look here also at lap 2. Pavel Maltsev pitting in for his stop and go mandatory one, and he gets a little bit fast over the line going into the pit and gets speeding in pit extra penalty and has to stop, I think, another 50 seconds in his stop and go penalty, and that is of course going to set him back quite a lot. We're going to see how he manages to catch up after this, but this will be tough, I'm pretty sure. Okay, let's go back up in the lead of the pack. Here we are in the start at Frank Phillips' car, and you can see that he has his wheel turned to the left as the lamps turn green. Unfortunate that he did not notice that. It's very easy to do. You're so focused on the race and concentrating to be quick off the line, so shit happens. That's the way it is. Okay, let's move forward in the race. In the lead now we have Jan Schlossi, and we're having cars exiting the pits also after their stop and go. There is Sebastian Job, but he's now one lap down. Third position we have Jim A. Bolland. And there in third position is Jürgen Pedersen in the Solstice, followed by Jelena and Frank Phillips. Thereafter Andy Morgan and Marek Studnicka. So let's go up and have a look at the top of the field. Riding along with Sebastian Job on his left side pod. You can see in the rear view mirror just in front of us there is Jimmy Bolland chasing, and Sebastian is of course trying here to catch up with Jan, overtake him and start chasing to catch up the one lap that he is down at the moment. The skip Barbers will do 2 pit stops, so it's long stints in this race for them. And 2 laps is about 5 minutes, so they are going to need to be out on track quite a lot. So there Sebastian got past John. So let's move to further back in the field and see what we can find. Charles Salter is the car that is in the highest position of the pitted car after Sebastian Job. So he is also now chasing down the MX-5s up ahead. So when we get back to pits here also, Pavel will exit pits. So we'll see where he ends up in the total standings. Probably he's exiting a little bit after the others. And he's going wide there, back in on track. And there we have some incident further up. Jürgen is going straight ahead after the long straight. We'll go back and have a look at that. Jürgen Pedersen is in third position, followed by Jelena and Frank Phillips, and they are on the back straight. The Solstice that Jürgen is driving is only going to do 1 pit stop, so he can afford actually being quite far behind the others and still finishing far up. The MX-5s are doing more pit stop. Frank Phillips shoots for the inside and goes practicing a little bit of rallycross here, and he gives Jürgen a good bash on the inside door, and Jürgen has to take a quick toe into pits. His car is damaged. Frank's car is also damaged, of course. Jürgen's car was absolutely impossible to drive, and This is what happened to him, so I had to take a quick tow and lost about a minute 50. On lap 4 we have Season2 in the lead, and he is followed by Div4 in second position, and thereafter we have Jelena Medvedev in third position. Jürgen Petersen is gone. Alex Stubnica is now up in fourth. Frank Philip is also gone. Of course, Conrad Vent, there is a lapped car. Andy Morgan fifth. Charles Salter is lapped. Ricky James is lapped. Dwayne Bensinger is lapped, and there is Kirill Markulets actually up in sixth position. Well done. There's Mark Figueroas, also a lapped car. Adam Atkinson in the Solstice, who started from the pits, up in seventh position. Pavel Maltsev, go for his pit stop. There is Tony Tesla, ninth position. Frank Phillips is out of track again. No sight of Jürgen Petersen. Kyle Herring, one of the cars that was at the stop and go penalty. There's Gary Jackson. Douglas McFarlane started from the pits. Andrew Laughlin also started from the pits. Mike Thompson, 10th position. Danny Resser in the Solstice, 11th position. And there is Jürgen Petersen. He lost a lot of time, down to 30th position. Just overtook Chuck Balfi. We're riding along here with Conrad Venter on his lap number 7, and the leader of the race is just ahead. It's Jimmy Bolland, and who's in second position, and Season2 is in first position, and they are on their lap number 8. So Conrad Venter in the Mustang is still one lap down, but now he passes them finally after his long stop and go, more than 2 minutes long. I think it was 2:20, 2 minutes 20 seconds long, yes. And now he's up to he's one lap behind, but we will continue following this and see how it goes in their chase. Conrad Venter is the one in the cars that did the stop and go penalty, that is furthest up ahead now. And after him we have Dwayne Bensinger also closing up to about to pass the leader and second car. We're going to move over to Dwayne and see what we can find. We're running along with Dwayne Bensinger sitting on his left side pod, and here when we come out to the start and finish straight, you can actually see the cars up ahead that he is chasing. So he's not that far off to go on lap, going out on lap 9 now for Dwayne. So the leading cars is on their lap 10. So I think we have the fuel stops coming up also for the Mustangs soon, so we'll go back and look at that. Well, I just realized that I forgot all about Sebastian Job. He was in the pits when I was scanning through the cars on track, and of course he is the skip orbiter that is the furthest up ahead. You can see behind there Dwayne is coming, but Sebastian is ahead, and he usually is doing very, very good lap times, so it will be interesting to see. He is one lap behind now. If he can catch up with these guys, even though they're doing many more lap times, he will probably do about 5, 6, 7 seconds faster lap times than the Mazdas. So that will be interesting to see. Okay, let's go back and see about the pit stops for fuel for the Mustangs. Here are looking at the building here in the pits, and we're just waiting for Conrad there to show up. There he is, and we see there Sebastian Job passing on the outside, and here comes Season2 in the pits, and also passing on the left side was Jim Bolland. So we're going to move in and have a look at Conrad's pit stop also. Conrad Venter is for his fuel stop here, and I think that it will be only fuel. Yes, it's only fuel, and Jan Selushi, of course, this is lap 11, and lap 12 for Jan, and he went into the pits, and that is for his mandatory, for his fuel stop. So that is all in order. So we have Jim Bolland now up in first position. Let's go back to him. Overviewing the pit lane, Jim A. Bolland comes into the pits for his fuel stop, and let's see if we have, yes, there is Jelena and there is Marek. So all the Mazdas is in, and Jan did his first pit stop a little bit earlier, so he's going to be on his way on the track here now and coming back to the start and finish line. So we're going to go and see where he comes out, if he's in front of or behind Jim Bolland again. In the car with Jan Selushi, and he is just approaching the chicane before the start and finish line, and this will be interesting to see who did the best pit stop and who could keep up the lap when they were alone on track. Jim is going to exit here now any time, so I think this is going to be very close. They're both very experienced drivers. So let's see here how this goes. Is that Jim? Yes, that is Jim Bolland. They're right next to it, and Jan passes him by a hair. that was very tight. Okay, let's go into Jim's car. Here are with Jim, and as you can see, they're right back in the same position. It's absolutely incredible. They were in exactly this position. Maybe Jim was only about 15, 20, 30 yards further up ahead. So this is very, very close racing. So let's go back and see about the other guys behind. Frank Philip here says fourth position, but it's actually in third position, and there is Pavel after him, but he's a lap down. There we have Marek Studnicka, and right after is Jelena Medvedev, so they are close to each other. We're on lap 13, we have about 17-18 laps to go, and we're going to have a look now and see where Sebastian Job is. We're riding along here with Jürgen Peterson. He's up to 10th position after his little incident on lap 3, and he's doing lap times around the 2:33, but Sebastian Job, who is up ahead now here, is doing lap times in the 2:25s, but unfortunately here, as you can see, he goes a little bit wide, hits the grass, and he spins off, and he loses about 25-30 seconds there, I think, if I'm not wrong. We're going to have a little bit close to look and see how he managed to recover from that. Sebastian Job is limping back into pits. He has a minor damage. It's affecting his the handling of his car too much to continue, so has to go in and change one of the tires. He makes a very quick pit stop there, only about 5, 6, 7 seconds to change the tire, but he still loses about 25 seconds. I think that this can be tough for Sebastian to recover from, but of course we're going to keep an eye on him. Let's go back to the leaders in the race. Jan Selushi in the lead, as he was when we last left him, and here comes Pavel Maltsev passing him, and Pavel is now 1 lap down. So we have Jan Selushi here, and we move 1 step back. There we have Jim A. Bolland just following quite close behind still. Their lap times is very close to each other. And I think that behind here now we will have Mark Figueroa's in the Skippy. He is a little bit more than a lap down. And we have Frank Phillips running in the 231s. There have Marek Studnicka just did a 239, so there's something must have happened. Let's go back and see if we can find out what happened there. Nothing specially actually happened. It's just Marek going into T1 and going a little bit wide and losing a few seconds in there. It's very easy to lose concentration once every now and then. So nothing special. Okay, let's go back and see what we can find. Anything exciting going on track. Here we're riding along with Adam Atkinson in the Solstice. It's a few laps left until the Solstice needs to start pit for fuel. Adam had a little spin on lap 7 and he lost about 15 seconds in that. And here we're on lap 13, coming down the straight, approaching the chicane. And here he goes a little bit wide. And everything looks good, but he loses the rear end, unfortunately, hits the wall with full speed, and his car is very heavily damaged. And as you can see, Adam is forced to pit, and he has repairs and also changing tires and all that kind of stuff. So he ended up standing here for quite a long time, so he was moved down quite a lot. Unfortunately, we will come back in a few laps and see what position he came out of pits in. 2 laps after Adam Atkinson's unfortunate incident, he's out on track and he's in position 10, so he lost roughly their 4 positions. On the other hand, if he filled up for maximum fuel and took tires, he might be able to make it all the way into the finish line, and then maybe it hasn't cost him that much. We will see how that goes if he can stretch out. We keep an eye on that. Back to the leaders of the race. We are on lap 23 and we are closing up to the end of the race. It's about 7-8 laps to go. John Shilushi is in the lead and he's pitting in here. He's coming right there in a minute. And right after him is Jimmy Bolland. They have been fighting since the start of the race. And there we saw Jürgen Petersen also passing on the straight. Here, let's see. Yes, there is John Shilushi right after him, Jimmy Bolland. Then we will have also Marek Studnik, I think, is in 3rd position here. Yes, that's Marek, and right on his tail is Jelena. The interesting thing is that Sebastian Job is out on track. He's about half a lap after them. So let's move over to Sebastian and see how he's doing. As the Mazdas are pitting in, Sebastian is 2-3 corners away from the pit entrance. So he's, I would guess, about 35-40 seconds behind. And as you can see on the lap times, the last one that Sebastian did was a 2:25.6. Sebastian is constant in the 2:25s. He's 2-3 seconds faster than the second fastest car on track, and he's 6-7 seconds faster than the Mazdas. So he is he really has the chance to catch up here. The Mazdas also must stay much longer in pits, since they're filling up much more fuel and also taking tires. And as we can see here, there is a Mazda parked there. Chuck Palfi. Yeah, none of the fastest cars are in. So they just got out of pits, so it will be interesting to see how far behind Sebastian is when he exits pits. And we'll see here how long pit stop Sebastian is doing. Yes, there he's off again, so looks like only fuel this time. So let's see how far behind he is now. Before we see how far behind Sebastian is, we're just going to have a look at this pit stop. John Shilushi is in the lead and he's going into the pits. And now pit stop times can make a difference. John Shilushi is coming in first. And now the question is, shall you take tires or not? Filling up fuel takes about 15-16 seconds if you have done the calculations correct. So Jan stops here, and you can see he's changing tires, so that will take him another 8-9 seconds. And right behind him is GMA Bolland in his car right here now, and he's not taking tires. And there he goes, and he leaves ahead of Jan Silushi. So GMA Bolland has overtaking in the pits and is in the lead. Let's move back into Jan. There's Jan's car. You can see they have switched their positions. The distance between them is the same, but they have switched positions. Very interesting. Okay, let's see how that develops, and let's go back to Sebastian Job. Sebastian Job is about 45 seconds behind at this position, but we need to look at this incident first. GMA Bolland is in the lead and just overtook Jan Silushi, and he's going into the hairpin, and ahead of him is a skippy driver who spins it and does not realize that there are cars coming behind him, and drives right out on track and ruins the race for GMA Bolland. Just a few laps to go. It's very unfortunate when drivers do not respect other cars on track, and as we said so many times before, if you go on track, stay off track until you are sure there are no cars coming. Too bad Jim, as you can see, his car is very badly damaged. He can barely make it back, and so I guess Jan is back up in first position. Well, you can see here this car is it's a goner. We'll see if he can get back out of track on track. The repair might take a long time. So, well, this was unfortunate. Well, Sebastian Job now doesn't have 45 seconds up to the leader, since the leader was taken out. So that will be about 35 seconds. And as the laps pass, he will catch up more and more and more. He's now in 6th position. GMA Bolland is now on his right side here in the pits, having his car repaired. So Sebastian now up to 5th position. And the other drivers are, as I said, about 35 seconds up ahead. And we have about 5 laps left to go. 5 seconds quicker per lap. That will make 25 seconds. So as it looks now, he's not going to be able to overtake and win the race, but it will be interesting to see how far up he can come, and we'll come back to Sebastian a little bit later. We're going to look into the other cars that did the mandatory stop-and-go penalty and see how they are doing. Dwayne Bainsinger in 6th position. Unfortunately, Dwayne has one more pit stop. His strategy has not been the same. All the drivers use a little bit different amount of fuel, and that is due to their driving style. It can vary up to 5–10% in fuel usage. So Dwayne now here in 6th position will fall back a little bit as he goes into pits and makes a splash and dash in a lap or two. Conrad Ventry in 10th position, but I think that he has not yet done all his pit stops for fuel. I think he will have to make a splash and dash before the end of the race. We will come back to this and see how that pans out. GMA Bolland back out on track, down from 1st to 7th position, and well, too bad. Maybe he can overtake Dwayne when he pits. 5 laps to go, so Jim will not have to do any more pit stops, at least not for fuel. Adam Atkinson in 8th position has recovered well from the incident he had earlier when he had a little impact with the wall. Jürgen Peterson in 13th position after his lap 4 incidents. He's running steadily in the 231s, 232s, but he's too far down to mingle into the top 5, definitely. Pavel, who was in 2nd position in the start, who had this extra black flag for speeding in pits, and his lap time has not been as good as they were in the qualifying, which is understandable. It's actually only Sebastian Job that is doing lap times in the same lap times he did in qualifying in race. So Pavel is down to 16th position. Lap 26, Marek Studnicka in 4th position, Jelena Medvedev in 3rd position right in front of him. He's getting a little bit help from the draft here on the start and finish line. Gets a little bit higher speed and tries to go on the inside here and going into T1. And you can see in the rear view mirror there was Jelena. And there she's again. And not giving up at all. Now move to Jelena's car. We're seeing Jelena's car, and there is Marek. It's neck to neck, side by side, going into S combinations. Either of these is very likely to back off unless they really have to, and it looks like Marek managed to get by. Well done. Look at this. After the S combinations, has a little bit better grip, goes on the inside. And now they're side by side going into this fast right-hander. And respectfully, Marek is giving a little bit extra room to Jelena. That was very gentlemanly done. So Jelena is back up ahead. So let's see how long she's going to stay there. Marek is not going to give up, definitely. Sebastian Job. Lap 28, it's about 5 minutes left to go of the race, which is about 2 laps, and look at this. Cars up ahead there is Marek Studnicka and Jelena, and they are on the same lap. Sebastian Job is up in 5th position, and he is most likely going to catch up with them, because Sebastian Job is still doing laps in the 225s. Very impressive. Marek and Jelena are doing laps in the 231s, so it is about 6 seconds slower than Sebastian. As you can see here now, just a few turns later, corners later, he's much closer. Okay, we'll come back and we're going to go now and look at Konrad Venter, who was up in 7th position. Gonna have a look at him, and then we'll come back to Sebastian. Konrad Venter up in 7th position, and there is Jim A. Bolland, who is in 6th position. And Konrad, of course, with about 500 horsepower engine, passes Jim on the left side. So Konrad is up on 6th position, just about 2 laps to go. So let's see if he can, maybe he can climb up another position. He's doing lap times in the 228s, as you can see. The cars up ahead now, number 5, 6 is doing in the 231s. So we'll come back to Konrad and see how it goes. Dwayne Bensinger, he had, he's in a skippy, so he had the long stop-and-go penalty in the beginning of the race. He's in 8th position. He's approaching Jim here, so we'll see. Jim is doing laps in the 231s, Dwayne in 227s. Jim is quite far up ahead, so well, it's going to be tough. We'll come back and have a look at that also. Sebastian Job again, and as you can see, he has caught up with Jelena and Marek, and they are fighting for position, which slows them down a little bit. Actually, it's hard to keep concentration up. You're protecting your position. Marek just overtook Jelena again, as you can see, and here comes Sebastian Job just blasting past. He's still doing laps in the 225s, and next is Marek. Sebastian is now up in 4th position. There Marek goes a little bit wide. Sebastian bides his time, and there he sneaks by. Well done, Sebastian. And next then up ahead is Frank Phillips. It's the next car to try to catch up with. We'll see how that goes. Let's go back and see what is going on with Konrad Venter. Konrad is on lap 28, and on this lap he is forced to pit for fuel. When the fuel is gone, it's gone. You have to do something about it. This is Konrad's 3rd stop for fuel, and the calculations are done very well. So 3 stops is actually what he is supposed to do. This stop cost Conrad about 28 seconds, and for this he drops down from 7th position to 11th position. So we're gonna go back to Conrad later and see see if he can regain a few positions after this. We're riding here with Frank Phillips in 2nd position. We are on lap 29, it's 1 lap to go, and Frank Phillips had this incident on lap 4, which made him forced him to do a longer pit stop for repairs, where he also took fuel, and that postponed his fuel stop with a few laps. So this fuel stop is actually the one that he should have done when the others did theirs some 5 laps ago. So it's not a calculation mistakes with pit stops from Frank's behalf at all. So he's going to be moved down a few positions. But anyway, let's go back up and have a look how Sebastian is doing. As you can see, also Sebastian Job can make a mistake. Not that it happens very often. Sebastian is about 20 seconds behind Jan Slushi, and it's 1 lap to go, so he will not be able to catch up. If everything, nothing unexpected happen, he will finish 2nd, which is very, very well done. We're going to go and have a look now on the Mustangs and see how they are doing. Well, first we're going to have a look here at Jürgen Petersen. He's doing lap times in the 2:32s to 2:33s in the Solstice, which is the slowest of the cars. Still keeping up a good pace. That is Torre Tesla that is ahead of him. He's in 9th position. Jürgen is fighting here on the last lap to try to make up 1 more position. Torre is about 2-3 seconds slower per lap at this point in the race. Also keep in mind that Torre just did another race just before this one, the Blondies. So he's been behind the wheel a long time today. So he may be excused not being able to keep concentration up. Very nice of you, Tori, to make the effort to join us in this race. So right behind Jürgen, who do we have there? Right behind Jürgen and Tori is Conrad Venter, and he is catching up fast. The Mustang has his huge engine, and on the straights he's just gonna blast by them if he just gets close enough. Road holding of the Mustang is not the best, so it's the next 2 straights that is going to tell us if he's going to be able to overtake or not, and get up to 9th position if he can overtake them both. So right now Sebastian Job and Jan will be finishing the finish line, so let's go back and have a look at them. Jan Slushi on lap 30, going over the start and finish line with his Göta Petter sponsored Mazda MX-5, celebrating in an ordinary way. Well done, Jan. Very, very well performed race. No mistakes whatsoever, what I could see. Right after him, there we have lapped cars. And there is Sebastian Job finishing 2nd. Well done, Sebastian. You almost caught up with him. And here we have Marek Studnicka and Jelena Medvedev neck to neck. I don't actually know who won there. We'll have to come back and look at that later. There's Adam Atkinson, who is lapped. And let's go and see. Let's see, that must be Frank Phillips. Yes, Frank Phillips, 5th position. Good recovery. Jim A. Bolland loses his 6th position just before the start-finish line here. 200 meters shorter race, and he would have kept that position. Andy Morgan in his car sponsored by the British meat manufacturers in 8th position. Conrad Ventress has caught up with Jürgen Petersen and Torre Tesla. This is the fight for 9th, 10th and 11th position. We have a couple of 100 meters left of the race, and Jürgen is going wide there, trying to keep the speed up, and he's on the inside, and he's not going to give anything away, and he tells Conrad that. Conrad, however, picks a little bit better line, and Jürgen here tries to make his car as wide as possible. Doesn't really matter when you have the Mustang behind you. And here's Tori Tesla up next, and Tori here actually thinks that he passes the finish line there, but it was another 40-50 meters left to the finish line, so Conrad actually finished in 9th position and overtook the 2 cars in the last 100 meters. Well done, Conrad. Tori Tesla in 10th position. Jürgen Peterson doing good lap times, recovered up to 11th position after being down to almost last position. Well done. So we're gonna have a look at the results from the race. As we just saw, John Shilushi won and Sebastian Job came in 12 seconds after. Marek Studnicka 21 seconds after. As you can see, Marek here beat Jelena, and the difference between them is what, but 600ths of a second. That's close. And then Frank Phillips 48 seconds after. Dwayne Bensinger 120 after. Jimmy Bolland, as we saw before, was overtaken just before the finish line in 7th position. Andy Morgan there in 8th. Conrad Venter, as we saw, 9th. Tor Tesla 10th. Jürgen Peterson 11th. Rick A. James 12th position. Pavel Maltsev 13th position. Mark Figueroas 14th. Kirill Markolets 15th. And then we have Adam Atkinson, Danny Resser, Mike Thompson, Charles Salter, Douglas McFarland, Kyle Herrin, Andrew O'Loughlin, Gary Jackson, Chuck Palfy, Joe Craviero, and David Sostello, who didn't, I think he left the race in lap 1 or 2, unfortunately. Okay, we're going to also look into the championship standings after this race. Here we have the championship standings after the race today, race number 4. And we have in the lead, first position in the championship, Sebastian Job in 66 points. In second position, Marek Studnicka in 52 points. And in third position, Frank Phillips in 51 points. We have Jan Shilushi in 4th position in 43 points. 5th position, Jelena Medvedev in 31 points. Then we have Heinrich Lorenz in 25 points. Tim Chouette in 24 points. Conrad Venter 21 points. Andy Morgan 20 points. And Dwayne Bensinger in 14 points. These are the top 10, but we actually have points now since we changed the grading system down to I think you have 22 drivers now with points in the championship, which is nice. There will be also some changes down to this for the next race. We have some penalties, so we will have a few maybe a few drops here in point reductions for some of the incidents that occurred today, but the officials will look into that, and more information will be available on this in the summary of next weekend's race. Okay. So last but not least, we also want to thank our main sponsor, Göta Petter Bar and Grill in Göteborg. Thank you very much. And to all of you, I want to say welcome back next week. We will be doing the Division 3 race, and you can watch it live. It's broadcasted if you're in-game in iRacing. You can go in as a spectator. It's ran on at 7 o'clock GMT, and you will find it in the servers there. So thanks very much. See you next week.